for you to be who you are, living where you're living, doing what you're doing, going into the franchise business. Oh, by the way, this is the worst of all possible times. For you to be who you are, living where you're living, doing what you're doing, going into the franchise business. Having been in prison for 5.5 years, in my experience, which it is up to us.
Told were things that I've never personally experienced, but they really hit home.
I was shot down flying a combat mission over North Vietnam on the 31st of August, 1967. A surface air missile took the tail off my airplane. I ejected and landed in the middle of a small North Vietnamese village. I managed to get out a little radio that we carried and talk to the aircraft overhead. And when they answered me, they said, "You know, we cannot come and get you." And that started for me what would turn out to be a little longer than 5.5 years in prison in North Vietnam.
It was lots and lots and lots of time, interspersed with moments of pure terror. We were interrogated occasionally, beaten occasionally, tortured on very rare occasions. All of it was done with the attendant shouting and hollering and punching and jabbing and kicking until they'd have me just crunched up into a ball on the floor, feeling like all my joints were coming apart. I begged them to kill me. They wouldn't kill me. They just hurt me. And I knew I was going to go crazy. The pain was just incredible. Well, I think good teamwork had a lot to do with the way we survived that situation. We were all involved in it to some extent or another. Our primary means of communication was to tap on the walls, and we would tap with a code, and we'd go very fast with that. All of us exercised leadership. I think the North Vietnamese were very frustrated by our unanimity. They tried to keep us all isolated and divide and conquer. That's what they were looking for. We had a mission statement too, by the way. It was return with honor. And we all knew it. And we all, every day, were trying to do that. The question, I think, to be asked is, did what I do today unify this organization, or has what I've done today contributed to polarizing and fractionalizing this organization? They would have been ruination for us in Hanoi. They would have just ruined us. The policy was amongst us that we were all going home together. Nobody was going home early. Nobody was going to be left behind. We were coming home together. One day they dressed us in civilian clothes and loaded us on a bus and drove us out to Gilam, the airport in Hanoi, and there sat a United States Air Force airplane. I think that's when I really believed we're going home this time. And then we went through a small receiving line and were escorted out to the airplane. At which point we didn't need an airplane to fly. When the bottom falls out of your world, you handle it just a little bit at a time. In my motivational speaking, I use my experience as a POW in Vietnam as an analogy for dealing with change.
Well, I think probably the thing I relate to the most is you can't give up regardless of the situation.
See, the fact is, everybody has their own experiences. In this lifetime, we're all going to get shot down. some of us more than one time. And so then the question becomes, how do you deal with that? How do you handle it? Kind of went downhill from there. But at least that got him started. How did we do it? We laughed a lot. And he really wants to know, what's up, Doc? A little veins are standing out. He's getting red in the face. Perhaps now you can identify with interrogators, bosses, doctors. It's not good for them to get excited. He's screaming in that hole. He wants to know, what's up, Doc? We're saying, give us a hint, give us a hint. He says, up, Doc, you know, goes on for an encampment. Up, Doc. Yeah, it's about this high. It looks a little bit like mange. It has a red
I may have
color.
learned a great deal from the pain, but other people won't learn from that. My approach is to come and talk about those things with which people can connect. Those are mostly the lighter side of my experience. Humor is great medicine. So there's a way to talk about a very heavy subject in a very light way.
You know, I really had to think about, okay, it's one thing to tell a story. It's another thing to try to derive some lessons from it that people could benefit from. And so over time, I kind of worked out the things that I think were important from my experience. And they really have to do with how do we get through difficult times in our lives? Or how do we deal with all the change that's going around us? Or how do we deal with such an uncertain future? Or tragedy in our, we're all going to have tragedy when something happened in their lives and their first reaction and thought was, I can't do this. I'll never get through this. How is this ever going to, it was like an oh my God-er, and yet we do move.
It's incredible. Not only a sense of humor, but he seems to be someone who's come through a very, very trying time, but kept it in perspective and really simplified his own life.
Scott Peck says, in the first line of the road less traveled, life is difficult. Now, I can get that a lot closer to home for you. You're going to have problems at work. You're going to have all kinds of adversity in your work and personal life. Things are not going to go well. But you see, there's a mindset that, no, it's supposed to be easy. Come to me on a silver platter, be a bed of roses. Well, if that's our mindset, then life and work are terribly frustrating experiences. I hear it. When things are not going well, we're all running around saying, oh, why me? Why is this happening to me? When things are going good, I don't hear anybody saying, why me? Why is this happening to me? See, it's a mindset. And if that's our mindset, then life and work are going to be terribly difficult, frustrating experiences. It's not supposed to be easy. Who in here was in charge of counting how many times I said it was easy? I never said it was easy.
It came through that you have to depend on yourself, your own resources. They're all there. The tools are there.
He showed us how life is what you make of it.
I think I learned a lot from that time in my life. I think I learned a lot about people. A lot about what goes on with people and what makes us tick and how we are inside. Crises tends to test and bring out what's really inside. And so you have to be careful what you're putting inside. Pay attention to how you're building up the inside. I would urge you to choose to make it the best of all times. The best of all times. Thank you very much. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm just getting warmed up now.